Good morning. It is another edition of the Ben Garcia Show. The Jimmy Butler deal has another obstacle. And what did we learn from Suns Nets last night? Let's go.
The Ben Garcia Show. Yeah. Woo. Best show in the land. Yup. Listen. Come and get your information from Ben Garcia. Get the latest on your quarterback, running backs, and receivers. Tune in, so any other show you don't need them. Any news that he giving out, please just believe him. Giving out the latest prediction and top-notch analysis. Wanna hear the truth, better have thick skin like callus. The latest move that your team just made can be damaging. The dudes ain't speaking no facts, they just be rambling. Lights, camera, action, turn on the show, go get the cameraman. Yeah. Lights, camera, action, turn on the show, go get the cameraman. The Ben Garcia Show.
What is up, guys? Welcome into yet another edition of the Ben Garcia Show. Thank you so much for making us a part of your day. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, be a part of the Ben Garcia Show family. Also, guys, follow me on all social media platforms at Ben Garcia Show. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I really debated doing a show this morning. I thought about, well, we have Suns Nets, we have some Jimmy Butler developing stories, but I only stream Monday through Thursdays at 6 a.m., 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And there was a part of me that was just like, you know what? Maybe we should push this till tomorrow in case there's a big Butler deal. Of course, I will always go live when there is big news going on. But I thought we learned something of pretty key importance last night with the Suns and Nets. And it's not going after anyone in particular, because I don't think that's fair. I have really struggled with the idea of getting rid of Bradlety Beal because he hasn't done anything to make me want to push him out of town. Like DeAndre Ayton, I was so over it. Chris Paul, I loved and appreciate what he did for the Suns, but he had ran his course, just like how he does everywhere. Or whoever that player may be. Bradlety Beal is a guy that has been a good soldier. He's done everything the team has asked of him. He has made himself incredibly likable. And so for that reason, I don't get frustrated with Beal. I'm not wanting to just push him out. In fact, I think it's largely unfair to just push him out the door. But what we saw last night and what we've seen when Kevin Durant and Devin Booker play a 20-8 record when Bradlety Beal is not in the lineup, but when Kevin Durant and Devin Booker play 20-8. When Brad Beal is not in that lineup, they're 8-0. It's clear he's a square peg in a round hole. And it feels not very fair to Brad because he didn't do anything in particular. He's only continued to do everything that is asked of him on a nightly basis. And he said, I'm not going to be a distraction. Whatever the team needs me to do, I'll do. Even if potentially they haven't told him about a trade or they didn't tell him about the idea that he could potentially be moving to the bench. It is truly unfair to Brad. It's just a really bad situation. He hasn't done anything to make anyone dislike him further, and he does try in every single game he's in. I've never once questioned his effort. I've never once questioned his leadership. I've never once questioned his ability to do everything the team has asked of him. The leadership thing might be a little far, but still. But he is just square peg in a round hole. I think what you saw last night again is just the continuation of a redundancy in the offense that when he's in the game, the team feels like he needs to get his. Brad doesn't ask for his. I'm sure he's not screaming at people to pass him the ball. But when you have a player who I think is as skilled as he still is, I don't think Beal is washed. This idea that Bradlety Beal is washed, I think is crazy. The guy is 31, 32 years old. He wasn't a player that continuously didn't take care of himself. But it's clear he just doesn't fit. It's too much redundancy in the offense. And I like Brad. I've been a fan of him ever since he was at Florida. Huge fan. If you don't know, my one bandwagon team is the Florida Gators. So I love Brad. Obviously, bigger Sun Devil fan than I am a Florida Gator fan, but it's just not fair to him. But it's as clear as day what the issue is. It's him, but it's not because he's amplifying the issue or trying to make the issue worse. Brad just simply doesn't work in this offense. And it sucks for him because whatever legacy Brad did have, the second he went to a team that had expectations, he wasn't great. And I don't know how much that's on him, and I don't know how much that's on the team. But, and it also just isn't fair to Brad because you had the Devin Booker and Kevin Durant actively recruiting him to be on this team when he was potentially looking for a place to go. He felt like Phoenix was the new home. He didn't show up and say this was his team. He immediately said this is Booker's town. It's hard to hate Brad. It's hard to just be like, get this guy out of here. Nurkic, get him out of here. DeAndre Ayton, get him out of here. Chris Paul to a lesser extent because he runs his course everywhere, whether it's with the Thunder or Rockets or the Clippers, the Suns, the Warriors. He just simply runs his course. And he ran his course with the Suns, and everyone was like, yeah, it's time to be done. I don't feel that way at all towards Bradley Beal. I think he's been a good soldier, but it's just clear what last night showed us. He just doesn't fit here. He just simply doesn't fit here. And it's what this Suns team needs to do to continue to improve this roster is find a way to get out off of him. And whether it's in the offseason or now, I think what is healthy for Beal and the Suns is just a breakup. It's not a toxic couple. You know that toxic couple? They're always arguing, but they're just comfortable because they've been with each other for a long time, so they refuse to break up. But everyone can say, oh man, it doesn't look like they like each other at all. This is not that couple. The Suns and Bradley Beal are a couple that been together for not that long, 3-5 months, and they don't necessarily hate each other, but they've realized pretty quickly that it just doesn't work, and it shouldn't be a messy breakup, but it's clear both people need to go their separate ways to achieve what they're trying to achieve. Beal, that being the player that he was with Washington, and the Suns being a potential perennial playoff team. And I think that's what you saw last night. Not so much on Beal. It just is a bad fit here in Phoenix. You saw the ball move clearly better. Booker, Durant finding their spots. And when Beal isn't in the game, no one feels pressured to get him the ball and allow him to cook. It just happens that way. And being the third star, I would argue, on a big three, is probably the hardest job on the team. Because when things don't work out, you will get the most blame. Tobias Harris, for years with the 76ers. Kevin Love, for years with Kyrie and LeBron. Chris Bosh. And now, like with the Phoenix Suns, it's Bradley Beal. He gets all the blame, and it's really not deserved. It's just as simple as a fit here in Phoenix. But you see the ball move way more effectively. You see the offense actually have an identity. Last night they jacked up 43s. And then the defense just gets better as well. You can't have a small Devin Booker and a small Bradley Beal on the court at the same time. You got to pick between one or the other. Tyus Jones as well. Too small. Can't have him and Beal on the court together because they instantly become targets for the opposing team. Again, not on him, but last night was a continued saga, a continued sidebar to the story of Bradlety Beal and the Phoenix Suns just didn't work, and I didn't see it coming. I should have saw the redundancy in the offense. I should have saw how small they were going to be, but I just thought 3 great scores. It's going to work out, all unselfish, and I still think that. But it's clear it's more of a fit than anything else. All right. Appreciate you guys joining me this morning. I was saying before that, I was really thinking about even doing a show this morning, but either there is some news on the Jimmy Butler front in Phoenix. And I don't think it's the Jimmy Butler saga has just done this the entire time. He's coming to Phoenix. He's definitely not coming to Phoenix. He's coming to Phoenix. He's definitely not coming to Phoenix. He's coming to Phoenix. He's definitely not coming to Phoenix. That is what the saga has been. The reporting has been incredibly asinine every step of the way. It is continuously fluctuating on a night in, day out basis. Chris Haynes came out with a report last night that said, let's back up a little bit. 2 nights ago, it was a bunch of reputable reporters plus John Gambadoro here in Phoenix that was like, hey, the Bucks are a potential. And it was a bunch of people, but then Chris Haynes comes out, pours hot water, pours cold water over all of it. And it wasn't just that. We see the report a couple of days ago, a couple of weeks ago, if we're giving Gambo even more credit here, is the trade that Bradlety Beal said that he would waive, or reportedly he would waive, for a Milwaukee Bucks, for a whatever it is, whoever it would be, a Miami Heat. And then we come out last night where his agent says, no, that none of that happened, while also still keeping the door open and saying, but that doesn't mean we wouldn't waive it at all. And it's like, none of this makes any sense. Here's why the Chris Haynes report doesn't make a ton of sense to me. The Milwaukee Bucks makes the most sense for Bradlety Beal. I got to be honest with you, I still don't understand why they would want him. But if you're moving off of Middleton and getting Beal, I do get that idea. The ability to score more points. Now, is it going to work? Is it potentially a Phoenix Suns 2.0, a Brooklyn Nets 3.0? Potentially. But those guys don't do exactly what they do like Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and Bradlety Beal did. It was way too much redundancy. They all did the same thing. Mid-range assassins and very, very limited three-point shooters. At least Giannis does live around the basket. Dame is still a perimeter guy. Bradlety Beal can be that mid-range guy for them. But I get it. I understand not wanting that contract. But regardless of where Beal goes, I have not wavering that Jimmy Butler will be a Phoenix Sun. And part of that is because what happened yesterday. And that was the Miami Heat suspending Jimmy Butler again. There is a point, last night Brendan asked me on the podcast Locked On Phoenix Suns was, can Jimmy Butler's value get any lower? Absolutely it can. If he wants to continue to act up like this, which is a buyer beware to the Phoenix Suns as well. It's not all fun and games for the Phoenix Suns, but we got to be fair here. If he keeps on acting up, that can be the one bad apple spoils the entire bowl, for that being the Miami Heat. Yesterday, suspending him 2 more games. At this point, he's been fined well over $3 million for his suspensions. It has just gotten so bizarre with the Miami Heat and how they're conducting this. I absolutely do believe at this point, if Jimmy got traded and all it cost the Phoenix Suns was 1 first-round pick and a second-rounder, I wouldn't be floored by that, given the fact that you're going to have to give him an extension, as well as I think the Miami Heat just want to move off of Butler more than anything in the world. So I'm not wavering from Jimmy Butler coming to Phoenix. It's all about satisfying a team to take Beal. I do think Beal will still end up with the Milwaukee Bucks because if that's the case, they've been linked to a Miami Heat Phoenix Suns deal for a while now, and it's hard for me to believe that they're not going to be a part of it in a major way. It feels like they're not just going to be taking salaries back or giving draft capital to the Miami Heat. But I think also what is really important is not to get lost in the Jimmy Butler suspended by the Miami Heat. Because even me yesterday, I tweeted, and you can follow me on all social media platforms at Ben Garcia Show, was, what are we doing? Just send the guy to Phoenix already. What a bleep show. At this point, you are near the end of another year. Bradlety Beal will have 2 years left on his deal. It won't be that hard to move in a year. Just get Jimmy Butler out the door. You are ruining what is Heat culture. And you look like a not very attractive place for free agents to want to go. I mean, that's kind of part of the free agent deal. If you want out, will the ownership and leadership accommodate you? And they're not accommodating Jimmy Butler at all. But it also is a buyer beware to the Phoenix Suns. We've kind of talked about this before, but I do want to revisit this just really quickly. Getting Jimmy Butler on the Phoenix Suns sounds awesome, and I totally agree with you. I think it can potentially fix the Phoenix Suns. You add Nurkic and a first-round pick somewhere else. You get a key piece back. You're then talking about a team that's potentially a Patrick Williams, a Jimmy Butler, a Grayson Allen, a Royce O'Neal, a Tyus Jones, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, Nick Richards, Jimmy to that fold. That's a team that I do believe can be a championship contender. Not yet. It would be insane for me to throw that word out there. I have to be able to see this team through a 35, 40-game sample size like they still have. But it is crucial for the Phoenix Suns to be working around the clock to get this done. Not getting a deal done by the end of the week, that being Sunday, would feel like a little bit of a failure. Right now, the Suns do have a little bit of a cushion in their schedule. Like they've got the Washington Wizards coming up. They just played the Brooklyn Nets last night without a single player that I feel like should actually be in the NBA. So they've got a little bit of time here. The Suns should beat the Wizards without Butler, without Beal, heck, without Booker even. That's how bad the Wizards are. But at some point, you do need to get him in the door because we've got to figure out the chemistry with this team. We've got to see 35 games together. We just can't do that. But it is a little bit of a buyer beware. Just because Butler's coming here doesn't mean he won't also sour to the Phoenix Suns after a season or two, maybe 3 seasons. It just happens. Butler is demanding. He is intense. He raises the temperature in the room a few degrees. And I still think he's going to come here, and at this point, there's no turning back. But there is a scenario where this backfires on the Suns. But I want to be fair. Keeping the 3 picks that you just traded for with your 2031 first rounder, that would be insane. For everyone in the chat rooting for the 3 first-round picks that you got and keeping those and making those selections, that would be a disaster. Why would you trade your 2031 pick if you can if you were just going to keep those other picks? I don't understand it at all. I think it is nonsense. I'm not willing to go into the NBA draft with a 30th overall pick, 25th overall pick, and try to hit on a Ryan Dunn each time. And then the opposing thing of keeping your 2031 pick. You really want to go back to counting ping pong balls? Let's say the Suns in 2031 get the number 1 overall pick. Do you know that they already had that before? His name was DeAndre Ayton. How did that work out? This idea that you just have draft picks and that makes you feel better, because that's all it does, just makes you feel better, doesn't mean it's actually going to do anything. I would much rather trade the 7th grader or the 6th grader and go get a Jimmy Butler in a deal. Doesn't mean it won't backfire. It doesn't mean it can't potentially bite the Suns in the butt. But the clear thing that the Suns need to do right now is go get Jimmy. And I don't buy the reporting of Chris Haynes, who has been wrong before on the Phoenix Suns. Remember years ago, we said Chris Paul was going to get waived, and that never happened. I don't trust a lot of Chris Haynes' reporting on the Phoenix Suns, although recently he has been spot on. I don't think he's just lying. I believe he was told that. I don't believe that it's true. So, wherever Beal goes, I don't really care. I just, at the end of the day, still believe, not wavering, that Jimmy Butler, before the February 6th deadline, will be a Phoenix Sun. And all of that goes towards, I cannot believe the Miami Heat suspended him. At this point, $3 million out of Jimmy Butler's pocket. It is a bleep show over there, and it doesn't make any sense. So with that being said, guys, I appreciate you guys making me a part of your day. I have a work meeting this morning once again, so I got to go ahead and hop out of here, but I appreciate you guys making me a part of your day. We will be back Monday through Thursday at 6 a.m., 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Follow me on all social media platforms at Ben Garcia Show. We have about 15, 16 people in the chat. Please like the stream. That helps me out. That gives me a reason to get up in the morning and talk some sports with you guys. No show on Friday, Monday through Thursday, always and forever, unless there's a big deal, big trade. Then, of course, I will sporadically jump on emergency podcasts, and we'll do it here. Appreciate you guys making me a part of your day. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, tell a friend about the Ben Garcia Show. Follow me on all social media platforms at Ben Garcia Show. And until tomorrow, I'm Benjamin Garcia, and it's been the Ben Garcia Show.